Good afternoon, everyone. We're here for another session in the WBL Institute. Okay, sorry.
That's really cute.
Okay, I'm sorry. Can I start that one? I'm sorry. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to one more session of the WBL Institute. Today we are here to hear more about one-to-one career counseling and post-secondary career planning with CCPT, the College and Career Planning team. Today is November 18th, and we just want to continue to remind you guys to sign up for future events using the calendar. And so if you flip to the next slide, you'll see this landing page when you're about to register for future sessions. We do know that there are 2 more coming up in December, and we will be releasing a calendar for the winter. So you'll be seeing additional sessions from January through March. So we look forward to seeing you guys there. And moving to the next slide, just to say a little bit about presenting today, will be myself, Larry Fleming Williams, Yves Bois, Denise Cesar, and Meg Gallagher, all talking a little bit about the college prep piece. So moving to the next slide, I want to pass the baton over to the College and Career Planning team. Thank you, Yves.
Thanks, Takia. Hi, everybody. My name is Yves Bois, and I'm here with my colleague, Denise Cesar, and we're from the College and Career Planning team in the Office of Post-Secondary Readiness. The focus of our team, we've got about 25 folks on the team, and our goal is that we work alongside schools and K through 16 leaders to support the post-secondary access and success for students. And that's for every public school student. And so we provide one-on-one support to schools in a variety of capacities, professional learning, one-on-one calls, meetings, et cetera, to make sure that we are providing the best resources and supports for the work they're doing to secure students' post-secondary outcomes. We're going to start today just with a little get to know you and to activate the chat. And what I'd love for you to do is to put into the chat, we said what a wish. This has been a really unusual year, obviously, in a very unusual school climate. So we'd like to know, what are your hopes and challenges in your work as you prepare students for post-secondary planning? So if you would just take a moment and write your name and maybe your position and your location in the chat, and then let us know, what are you hoping for and what are you working on as you support students with post-secondary planning. Today's agenda, we've done a little bit of introductions and our warmer. We're going to orient you to the many resources that we use on the College and Career Planning team to support schools doing that post-secondary work. That's milestones, a calendar, resource hub. I'll go through all of those with you. We have a really great tool called the Match tool, which is a really great database for helping that parents and students and counselors can use to help students make a good, solid match for college. We have some milestones that I'll talk about. How are we measuring and what are we measuring when we talk about post-secondary readiness and post-secondary success? We'll have a chance for some Q&A and then some look ahead to think about ways that we can collaborate and support or inform one another's work moving forward after today's meeting. So who is the College and Career Planning team? Like I said, there's about 25 of us, and our goal is to really prepare students for post-secondary transition. And our belief has always been, and it's certainly more emphatic now, that a basic fundamental of a K through 12 education is helping kids make smart post-secondary plans and carrying out those plans, and that we are committed to not letting that be compromised because we're in a very challenging fiscal climate or pandemic. It's probably more important now than ever to help kids think through the very difficult decisions that they're making around post-secondary planning and what they want to do when they graduate. We do this, as I mentioned, because we work with the schools, mostly with the college counselors at a school and the principals and sometimes the teachers to help support their work, to make sure that the students are equipped to transition to higher ed or the workforce. And we do that by providing access to very high quality and high impact post-secondary planning experiences that really take place in the school day. I think we're seeing more and more in a remote environment that it's hard for schools to reach students. A lot of them are trying to reach students around the schedules that they have with work and family obligations and other things that they're really trying to balance right now. And so we try to help support schools doing in-school work so that there is some level of student availability during that school day to work with post-secondary and success. And we're really committed to doing this in a way that disrupts race-based outcomes in higher ed and workforce representation. And I'll talk a little bit about the data that we collect in our work, but some of the things that we look really closely at are disproportionality. Who are the students that we're reaching when we talk about and plan for post-secondary experiences with them? And where are their gaps? And I think a lot of times the work that we're doing is existing in those gaps and really trying to make sure that we're reaching all students and that they all graduate with a solid plan. So that's the emphasis of our work. Couple of things, just sort of framing the way that we communicate with schools and the materials that we produce for schools. We use a calendar, planning calendar. This is pretty familiar to college and career folks who are working at schools because it aligns with what they do during the school year with students who are planning for post-secondary. So as you can imagine, in October, November, it's a lot of college exploration for juniors and seniors, trying to make sure they choose the right college and get the financial aid documents that they need to apply for financial aid. We do college interest, career interest in the winter months, and then in the spring, really focus on that decision piece. Where are they choosing to go? What kind of program are they doing? Are they going to college? Are they going to a training program? We really try to put events together to help support and cause or generate a lot of excitement around the decision that they're making. And then in the summer, from actually graduation through the summer, we help with the bridge. So what can we do to support them as they transition into the next phase of their lives? Or for students who are in 9th through 11th grade or younger, what are we doing to move them to the next step of the process in post-secondary planning? I mentioned briefly in our agenda that we work around milestones. These are milestones, and it's a small print there, so I'll read it. A milestone is an experience relevant to all students pursuing a post-secondary pathway that addresses known barriers to access and success. These are the 5 areas that we feel are really, and research has shown, are most important when a young person is preparing successfully, making a plan about what they want to do when they graduate, and then transitioning to carrying out that plan. A lot of times when we meet with college counselors and school staff, they say, oh yeah, I'm doing this. Of course, I help students look at career interests when they're coming in 9th grade, 10th grade. I help them pick colleges and training programs that they might want to do in 11th and 12th grade. And then we help them do the FAFSA, or we help them make a decision about where they want to go. I just never called them these things. So we've actually, for the purpose of just making sure we're all on the same page and speaking the same language, making sure that we're focused on the right high impact practices, we call these our milestones, our planning milestones, and they are aligned with college and career readiness. And all of the resources that our office puts out, all of the communications that we have with schools, the ways that we talk about schools with what they might want to focus on at a certain time or who they might want to focus on with, revolve around these milestones. And it's just been a really concise and informative way to have a dialogue, a common dialogue across our schools and across our team about how we're supporting post-secondary success in our schools. We also document, I was talking before about disproportionality and aggregating data. We document schools' involvement with these milestones. And so a school, we can say to a school on our data dashboard that I'll show you a little bit later, you know, how many students have engaged in a career exploration, or how many students have applied for a college or a training program. And that's data that we can look at together to talk about the work that we're all doing collectively for our city's students. So this is our resource roundup. And these are live links. So when you get a copy of this PowerPoint, you'll be able to see. And I do want to show this. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second. Okay. So I just want to go in here and show you what our dashboard looks like that we share with students. And it's not coming up for me. Here we go. So every school that we work with gets a dashboard, and it looks like this. And you can let me know if you're seeing this dashboard right now. Anyone? Taki, are you able to see the dashboard?
I see the dashboard.
Perfect. Yes. Okay. So this is one of the tools that we use with schools, and probably our most reciprocal communicative tool. So every school gets a dashboard, and on that dashboard, we have a whole host of information for them around college and career planning. So one of them is a common one, which is CUNY waiver codes. And so we hand out CUNY fee waivers for schools so that they can use them to apply, you know, for that application fee. And we have a dashboard here that shows them what's available for community fee waivers. They can put their students' names in. We also show them how many students, and there's nothing in here yet because this is a new dashboard, how many students have applied for CUNY colleges. And this populates in real time as students start applying for college. We also show them historical data, and this takes a minute here to come up, but we show them in the last couple of years, let's say from 2016 to 2019-20, how many seniors completed a FAFSA or a TAP, how many students enrolled in a post-secondary program for 6 months or longer, how many had a plan in our STARS system, how many made a good match using our match tool. And we present this to them, one, as a way of seeing trends and either increasing, building on trends, or making changes in trends where they see gaps and needing to increase, and also as a way to track where they are now. And so this is a great tool for them to use to set those goals. And then the last thing is the milestones I mentioned to you. And this is where every school gets a breakdown of how many students, you can see in this bottom section here, how many students are in the current cohort. So they have 95 students on the roster to graduate. And where are they with these things in the milestones, which is column A, like how many have applied to CUNY, how many have made a post-secondary decision. And it gives them a tool here where they can plug in the numbers that they want to work with, and it'll tell them the percentage. And then in the far columns here from F, G, and H, it's just a place to set goals with them. So what's a specific strategy around a particular milestone? What would it look like in this column here to attain that? And then how am I going to know? Why is this goal relevant? And some of the schools that we're working with have really done a lot of goal setting work. They've done it on their own. And they come here and they say, this is a great tool. I can plug in stuff that I'm already doing. Some of the schools need a lot more support. And so our one-on-one person from our team will meet with a school and actually walk them through this goal setting tool. So that's one of the ways that we support them. And then I'm going to show you a couple of our other tools. This is our milestone toolkit. So we don't want to ask them to work on milestones without actually providing a toolkit for them for how to do that. And again, depending on the expertise of the school and who's at the school doing college and career work, sometimes this is a, hey, great, thanks for the resource. And sometimes it's something they really dig deep into and we work with them on picking the tools. So this is our milestone toolkit. We have one of these for every single milestone, those 5 areas. We made it look like a superhero document because we think that the college and career coach and school staff are really superheroes doing the work they do. So we kind of went with that theme. So on the right here, you'll see the 5 milestones. And right now you'll see some that say coming soon because we're working on a book for each of those. But it's broken down and the areas in blue are the ones that we have. And it's basically a tool that they can walk through. It tells them, why is this particular milestone, exploring career pathways, why is it important? What are some of the key practices that you would engage a young person in? What are the high impact practices for the milestone that would help that young person make a good career exploration process and be able to pick a career once they've gone through this? And then the following pages are suggested activities and counseling resources. All of these are live links. I know it's a little hard to see in there. It links to activities for career exploration, for interest inventories, for other areas that are important for career exploration, like introducing soft skills and workplace norms and industry and career panels. And it has a whole bunch of activities that counselors can pick and choose to use with their students. And then we have a Google Classroom where we drop everything. And then we send them to the STARS Post-Secondary Tracker, which is the Department of Ed system for documenting outcomes. And we do that for all of the milestones. So here's our next one around developing a strong match post-secondary plan. And that's been a really great resource, again, because it provides differentiated supports to schools based on what they really need and where they are in that process. The last thing I want to show you is the Citywide Match tool. And this is the big database for picking colleges that I referenced in my introduction. And all schools have access to this. And we also have a family and student-facing version, which includes a video walkthrough for a young person of how to use this tool on their own. So trying again to do those differentiated supports from our office and hit all of our post-secondary planning partners, students, families, schools, to make sure that they're able to make and plan for good choices. So our first page here, I'm going to open this with Google Sheets so we can access it. Our first page is just an overview. This explains some updates that we've made. We've had this tool around for a number of years, and we're always making improvements to it and making sure it has the most current information, especially now with colleges doing a lot of changes around admissions policies. We have a table of contents. We have some frequently asked questions. I'm going to talk about all this in a minute, but basically all the tabs at the bottom list every single college in the United States, ranging from most selective to least selective. And a student can go through this with their counselor. Here's our selectivity tool. And a student will say, here's my SAT score. Going down the left side, let's say I got a 990. And here is my grade point average across the top. Let's say I have a 2.5. And I can see that this student is eligible for, I'm trying to show you here and I can't highlight, from selective all the way down to somewhat selective schools. The important thing about this, and the reason why this tool is so important and we spend so much time with counselors on it, is that a lot of times our students undermatch. They may be hindered by finances, or they may be hindered by location or family obligations, and they think, well, I really can only do this type of school. It's really important for them to make a match that really meets both those needs, which are very important, and also where they're eligible for. We have a lot of kids that sometimes go off to college and come back and say, I think I could have done something more challenging, or I could have pick something a little bit more reasonable for my needs. This is the tool that helps them with that. Just, of course, it goes without saying that this SAT column right now is a little bit up in the air because of the testing changes that are happening across the country, but still a great tool to give young people an idea. So let's just take a look at what's on here. Get to the CUNY tab. So as I mentioned before, on the bottom, we have different types of colleges broken out by selectivity, but we have a special tab for CUNY because we know so many of our students go to CUNY. So I'm going to use this one to show you what's on here and what the counselors and staff use. So you see every college listed from CUNY in column A. Tells us this match for post-secondary pathways. So what kind of school are we looking at? Most of these are big city urban schools. Is it a 4-year? Is it a 2-year? Has some SAT information, and then it has student success supports. So does a school have an opportunity program? Does it have a different profile, a GPA perhaps, for a student coming in at an opportunity program? For CUNY, does it have math? Does it have START? Does it have CLIP? Does it have all of the above? It tells you which ones. And does it have ASAP, which is another CUNY support system? This is my favorite part of the tool. This is the match for belonging. And one of the most important things for young people picking colleges is to make sure that they're going to feel that they belong. Are they going to see students like them? Are they going to feel supported and have a network? Are there people there that are going to understand them? And so this match for belonging pink section shows you in column P the graduation rate overall for the school. And then following that, the graduation rate for subgroups of students. So out of 69% of overall students who graduate, low-income students graduate at a rate of 58%. White students at 66%, Black students at 45%. And these become really important talking points, both for counselors and for students and their families, to maybe want to look a little further about a school that may have a different graduation rate for their demographic and their interest than the school overall. And those are great questions that they can ask themselves and ask their counselor or ask the college directly. The last section on this tool is the match for affordability, also really important, of course. So we have the total cost of attendance of the college in that column that's highlighted right now. And then what's the cost for low-income students, and what quantifies low-income student? And then what are the indirect expenses? So what are they paying for maybe a dorm or food or textbooks, et cetera? So this is the CUNY tab, and that's a pretty straightforward, I think. They offer a lot of the same support programs and et cetera. It gets really interesting when you start to look at all the colleges. So I'll just show you a quick tab before we move on. So here's one you can see. Here's all of these. This is the highly selective category. And you start to see things like, where's the school located? What's the setting? Some kids don't know what a school, whether a school's in a big town or a small town. And then you start to see across here that same sort of match information. And that's why we call it match, to make sure that they're picking the place that matches best for them. So that's the citywide tool. And then the last other tools I'll just talk about briefly. Our website up here in red, the College and Career Planning team has a website. We often will share that and put resources on there. And we always direct folks to updates there for professional learning and things that we're offering. The Milestone Toolkit is on there. When you get this PowerPoint, that's a live link, and you can go on the website and access all of these tools that I've been talking about. And then we have a map of remote lessons, which I'll just talk about briefly. In the spring and through the fall, or summer and fall, our team put together a series of student-facing lessons so that if students wanted to do self-directed career exploration, or helping them understand the financial aid process, or helping them understand their financial aid award letter, we have a series of student-facing lessons that really walk them through some really great engaging exercises that they can do on their phone and on paper to make it really accessible. So again, a lot of the tools that our team focuses on are making sure that they're differentiated so that they work for counselors, for students, for families, and for the larger community that are supporting students' post-secondary outcomes. I'll go back to present mode here. So the last thing is just to show you is our dashboard live demo so that you can see again the information that we have on the dashboard if you want to just see it on the screen. I think that's the end of the recording.
Actually, it would. That's fine.
Oh no, did
It
I
would have
stop
been
too
great.
soon?
No, say, and now my colleague Denise.
Oh,
that's okay. No worries.
sorry.
We'll just cut it there, and then we'll
Okay.
just say that
I think I also went over. Didn't you tell me to stop like 2 slides before?
Okay, which is good because we have more material to see if we can smooth the transition between.
Sorry. Yep.
No. Thank you for staying an additional 20 minutes over.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Plus, I was like, that was like so long-winded. Sorry.
No, it was great. It was.
All right. I can redo it if you need me to redo it sometime. I can come on here by myself.
Not at all. You have been a lifesaver in just agreeing to do this. So it's good because now we have enough for where you are, because we didn't get her slide from the beginning. So it'll be good just to kind of cut it there. And then once she starts talking, it'll be the next recording. So it'll be a part 1 and a part 2.
Okay, cool.
And we'll just say that, there was a break in recording, and that'll be the explanation between. But thank you.
Sorry.
No, don't apologize. This was great.